Good morning. It is Monday, October 24th. Puts us 90 days out. God help us from January 22nd. 90 days out from January. Yeah, JV's like, oh my God, I haven't done my Christmas shopping yet. No, you haven't. So a big chunk of time, we are already playing 90 days out, well past the 15th protocol of the first month of the first quarter of the year. There, I ruined your breakfast. Everybody enjoy the rest of your day. So we want to remind you, too, today we've got proven cappers. If you are a capper, you're always a capper. We're going to join each other at 11 o'clock on KellerTV.com. You've got Ask the Brokers with JV and Westcott, or one or the other. I don't know who's going to be there. Who's going to be there today, JV? JV doesn't know. We'll see. Yeah. It's.
I usually try to be there, but you never know.
It's potluck / manager's choice. You're going to get one of our managing brokers will be there at 1 o'clock for Ask the Brokers. And above and beyond that, you've got the regional growth call today at 2 o'clock, and that link is right in your morning news. And just so you guys remember, for the rest of this week, tomorrow you've got VA loans with Bradley Kelly at 10 o'clock in the Meredith Business Center. And then, sort of important, Business Planning Clinic is coming up in Meredith also on Thursday. And that is a hybrid experience. And I'm going to say this concerning that because I'm speaking to the powers that be. Actually, are you planted right now in NoCo, JV?
I am.
You are in NoCo. We believe North Conway mid-November, and then York in December might only be in person because of the we're working on technicals and all that kind of stuff, and we're just not sure. So I think we've decided the public library in York in December will be the York location. We're probably going to keep that one in person, and I think NoCo will be in person only.
Oh,
I like that. That might be where it is, and based on all the things that are up in the air, it might be a little more kumbaya than usual, but we're going to have a good time. We're going to plan your business, and we're going to get stuff done. So those are all on the map. Also, if you can't make either one of those, because we're hearing from people, well, Timmy, Bold's on Thursday. I can't possibly go to a business planning clinic because those are on Thursdays. The one in December is after you graduate Bold. Oh. So know that you can go to the one in York. And or Wednesday, November 2nd, we will be delivering business planning clinic at Chestnut Hill Market Center for some of the offices down in Boston. And that is open to you guys as well. What's that?
That's a great opportunity to go and meet other agents from other market centers, maybe create referral relationships.
If I was a triple or quadruple threat from our market center, I would absolutely meander down to Chestnut Hill and be like, hey, stupid, send me your referrals. Don't say stupid. That's an internal thought. But yeah, because there's a ton of kids down there that only play in Massachusetts. Right. So they're looking for help in New Hampshire and Maine, maybe even the North Shore, and above and beyond that, they're also looking for help in Vermont if you're licensed. Do we have anybody licensed in all four? Since I have you ladies online, you would know.
No quadruple threat
Not yet. Who will be first?
I don't know. We have a lot of three. Yeah, it'll be Jen.
Yep. Yeah. Anyway, so all that being said, make sure you check the morning news. It typically hits your mailbox at about 7:14-ish in the morning, so you can see everything coming up. But we wanted to make sure for the rest of this week, you guys absolutely remember you're either going to Bold or Business Planning Clinic this Thursday. So you're either signed up for one or the other, and all the links to all the signups are in the mail that just hit your mailbox this morning. We have Brittany Goodale and Jennifer Vashon here today to discuss more fun stuff. It's the fourth quarter. You got an email that you might have already started to ignore, and she's not going away. She's like a bad ex, or he's like a bad ex. I shouldn't say that. Yes. There's bad people on both sides. And what are we talking about, ladies? Your do's or do's? Your do's or do's? Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes, it is that time of year again. Not only are you, planning for end of year, you're planning for your Christmas, your holidays, all that stuff, and you also have to pay your board dues. Mm-hmm. And it couldn't come at a worse time of year, I think, for people. But we're trying to get way ahead of this year. I feel like Brittany and I do this every year, and it's one of those things where you sit there and, we're coming down to the last days that they're due, and it becomes a headache for us. But it's one of those things where it's hard to make those phone calls to you guys. Would you agree, Britt?
Yeah, it's definitely the more proactive you can be, the sooner you can pay, the better for everybody.
Yeah, and I don't think people completely understand that our board dues ties our access to our MLSs and that kind of stuff. And that's a huge piece of how we do our business. And if you're not going to have your access to your MLS, that's huge.
And correct me when I'm wrong, coming up in 3, 2, 1. If somebody goes negatory on their dues, that can affect the whole tribe. Yes? Okay, yes. I wanted to make sure that point was understood. Like it's not just going to affect your ability to get into. It could affect everyone's ability. So,
well, and it's kind of interesting because what they do is like specifically, I can talk to Naren, especially since I'm on the board there. You know, it's one of those things that they have rates that are set aside for us as realtors.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then they have rates for people who are non-realtor members, and that cost associated with the non-realtor member is huge. It's so much more expensive. So, you know, our realtor membership then, offsets that cost. Then you have the thought process that if one member of our agent population doesn't have their access, we either have to remove them from Naren so that and their license gets sent back to the state.
Right.
And they're no longer associated with us, or every single person in our sphere pays the non-member rate.
Yikes.
What did we did the quick calculation of that, Brittany, a couple of years ago, and we were like, holy mackerel.
I think it's $153 per agent per quarter for Naren only.
Yeah.
Additionally? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So imagine what that looks like for 700 people across the board. Like that's insane.
So Brittany, I think there's an agent watching right now. They're thinking, "Oh my God, I screwed up." Like we haven't passed any drop dead dates yet.
No. So now it's just the time reminders are being sent out. Everybody should have received an email from their board directly with here's how to pay, here's the amount, and you will have a clickable link to go in. Today, I'm also going to post on our Facebook group a list of all the boards with links in there. So you can go and click on your board. If you have multiple boards, all the options will be there.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, when we get past the drop dead dates, which is what the concern is. So there's a couple of things here, a couple of opportunities for you guys to remember. You can, and this isn't because you thought about it while you were getting your coffee at Starbucks. You have to have a conversation with Kaylee and Tristan and make sure that they understand. We can put it in agent reserves for you. You can have money pulled out of your next closing and have it set aside. So if you know you've got 3 or 4 closings coming up between now and your drop dead date, which will be listed on that thing that Brittany's going to post. Thank you, Brittany. Then you could have them extract just a quarter at a time so it's not one big swift kick to the face. And know that you can start doing that immediatamente after January 5th. Like when we get into next year, you can start having them pull out for your dues for next year if you want to and just have it set aside. Like, we pay our taxes quarterly, or some of us pay our taxes quarterly. If you JV and I are like, oh, I don't really know what that means. What does that mean? What does that mean? If you're brilliant enough to pay your taxes quarterly, start to do it. By the end of each quarter, I need this much for my agent dues. I think we're overthinking it, and everybody's waiting for that magical closing in November, right? Like they're like, oh, I'm gonna have one right at the beginning of the fourth quarter. That's gonna cover my dues, and you probably will, and then that's also earmarked for Hanukkah, Christmas, heat, ramen, whatever, all the other things. So start to chip away at it as soon as possible. What are some other things they should be aware of besides dues that are coming up right now that we would like to make them aware of so they're on point?
I think one of the big things is that the fact that, our new licensees, you have to remember that you have to get your electives done. So during your first license move in New Hampshire specifically, you have to take a set of, 4 classes, 5 classes? Now I'm forgetting.
4. Yeah.
4 classes.
Well, and the core. So
right, core. To renew your license in your first license period. Now, what's happening is a lot of people are waiting till like the last minute to do their education, and you can't wait on those first licenses. Like your first renewal period, it's like it can be challenging if you're just waiting till 3 weeks before and then you're trying to get all those classes in. That's not going to happen. I think that's probably been the biggest struggle, wouldn't you say, Brett?
Yeah, those classes, they're only certified instructors can teach them. They have to be live in person or live in Zoom. So it's not like they're offered every day. So definitely planning ahead for those.
Yeah. And I think don't forget Maine licensees. We've had this happen a few times. In fact, I just had a conversation on Friday with an agent about renewing, and Maine specifically has different core classes. So you always have to pay attention and take the specific core that's associated with your license. Because that's one that's happening a lot, is that they're taking the wrong class, then they get audited, and then they're seeing, oh, you've taken the wrong class, and there's like Maine's really, really heavy handed with fines. Like, I mean, $800 if you do that wrong.
It's not great.
It's astounding. No, it's not. I mean, it's really one of those things. And I think, even the licensees who have been doing this for a while still sometimes forget, oh yeah, I've got to take that specific one. And if you're going to things like, Brittany, what are the, oh God, I can't think of any of the education places out there, like CE Shop and some of those classes. Like they may not be, when you're logging on to see what they offer, you may not get the personal touch that you'll get with somebody who's a local provider, somebody like Shannon, or, I always think of Arthur Geary's classes. I don't know who's doing those now, but Kathy Russa, those types of things, because they know what we're supposed to be doing, where you're just logging on to some ancillary site somewhere, you may not get that special touch that you need to understand that you're doing the correct thing.
Yeah, it's I did mine, and I don't think I've done it yet. I don't think I haven't run it down to the last second on the clock. I keep waiting and waiting. Like I literally finished my stuff for my renewal in July, right before we left for vacation, and it was awesome because I was able to do 2 6-credit classes through Shannon. They were horrifying, but like I, got my 12 and my core done. So yeah, I think that's important for people to remember too, because people let that catch up, and then catching up on that and finding the time to do it, getting the paperwork done, and they more often than not, historically, correct me when I'm wrong, ladies, I feel like before you could say nailed it and send your stuff in, and it was very rare that you were audited. They're auditing. They're like, are they just asking for the stuff now or whatever? Because
I don't know. I kind of feel like it used to be like if you did it like within a few weeks, you were usually getting audited, and especially in Maine. Now it just feels like people are getting hit all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like they're just auditing all the time. So make sure that you are not telling them that you're good with a big fat wink and sending them the paperwork. Make sure you have all your I's dotted and T's crossed. Because they asked me while I was on vacation. They're like, do you have all your stuff? And I'm like, scrambling on my phone trying to find things. But I was able to forward everything to them. Still legal.
Well, and that's the thing, is that you do have a responsibility to make sure you keep all of those things and have them accessible. It is part of the licensing law in all of the states that we do keep our education credits and do that kind of stuff. So I don't know. Facing other challenges up New Hampshire specifically is really, really challenging from all of the licensing stuff right now. Brittany every day is messaging me, somebody else has left. What are we doing here? So please, 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 make sure that you're getting stuff done ahead of time. Do you have any tips or anything you want to share with anybody with regard to that?
I would say just make sure that they have an updated email for you, because the only way that they are communicating with the agent is through email. So if you're not checking your email, or they have the incorrect email, you're going to miss that message from them regarding your license status or something that they're missing, or your renewal status. So make sure you're checking that.
And that's just going onto our own profile, logging into the real estate.
It's all online now. Yeah.
So it's easily updated. So just pay attention to that kind of stuff. And I think that's one thing, we get so overwhelmed by the amount of emails that we get. And if that's the only way that people are communicating with us, then we have to make sure we're communicating properly with, be it our boards or the commissions themselves. It matters. So.
And the commission, the boards, us at the office here are sending you lots of reminder emails about board dues, license renewals. So make sure.
Yeah. And Brittany always, I can't tell you how many, like at least once a week I get somebody, hey, can you send me my affiliation form? And traditionally Brittany has already sent it to you. So it's already, like, she's so ahead of the game. She's amazing.
Yeah, I guess I want to remind people too, you are going to get stuff from your board. You're going to see emails from the office. Don't ignore those. And then when you do, please understand when you're getting that phone call from one of us, possibly toward the, when do we start the call-a-thon? When is the, and I know we're way ahead of it. I know we've changed our process.
Yeah.
But there's still going to be a call-a-thon.
When Rhonda at Lakes Region starts yelling at us, when the calls start. So she's and I mean yelling at us in a loving way. She's like the den mother of the Lakes Region board, and so those will be due at the end of this month, and so you do have a holdover period where you get a late fee and you will renew. I don't know what they're doing with late fees this year. Some of them, like board to board, they charge.
They're all a little different. Yeah.
Yeah, they have different rates. So, remember, if you're doing it after that date, you're getting the late fee. And typically we start calling when the late fee is enacted. Like that's, that December, beginning of December is when we start making our calls to people. Like, you didn't do it. So, hey, go pay.
Yeah, we're not calling to yell at you. We're calling to make sure that you've seen the 35 emails and just to make sure that we're helping you get across the finish line. Whatever your decision is, because there's people that just don't communicate, and then they're like, "Oh, actually, I'm stepping away, or I'm going to put it in the holding company or whatever." But like, just communicate with us, so we have an idea.
That's a good point. The holding company, that if it's something where you're thinking that, hey, I don't want to give up my license and I just want to move to that referral portion of it, the holding company is an option. And that's always something, because you guys, what I would highly discourage you guys to do would be to just let your license ever expire. It's not as easy to get your license now. So if you've been in the business for a number of years, and you're thinking, hey, I'm just not loving this anymore, and I want to do referrals, the holding company is a great option for you. And you can't practice, you still have an active license, but you're able to receive those referral fees, which is awesome. Refer it to some of your best friends here in the company and continue to create that wealth that way. But at least you have the option of putting it there. But let's get ahead of it. And if you're going to have that conversation, come talk to us about it first.
Yeah. So for the holding company, so people understand, that's so you can continue to generate referral money, and you can refer to all your friends that are here. You're technically no longer an agent with the Market Center, and you are no longer a board member at that point, obviously. But again, all those things also come with their fees too. So, but to Jen's point, don't just let it lapse, because getting back into the game is going to be, and then to be able to refer forever after that fact is pretty huge. And it's I forget the number off the top of my head. It's a nominal charge as opposed to renewing your license.
$250 a year.
$250 as opposed to, I think somebody just told me that Seacoast is $635 right now. $635.
And you don't have the near and bill either.
Yep. Correct.
Well, NARN fees are going up this year, so be ready.
Yes.
Nothing's getting cheaper in what we do. So I think that's one of the things that you got to be good about what you do with those commissions and pre-planning. I have to admit, when I was an agent, not great about it, but I had a husband who was really good at it.
Yeah.
So be thinking forward thinking with everything that you guys are doing out there.
Anything else, ladies, before we escape for the day? Now that we've put sunshine in everybody's bonnet. Yes. Yep.
Welcome to Monday. This is why we,
welcome to Monday.
Rainbows and sunshine.
Well, and don't forget, there's a lot of opportunities this week. You've got access to your brokers today at 1:00, and business planning clinic is always important. And this year, going into 2023, never more important. Anxiety only exists where there's lack of a plan. So if you're feeling anxious based on our conversation this morning, let's start to build a plan so you guys can have your finances lined up to pay dues and all the bullshittery. It's a French word. Look it up. All the stuff that we have to pay to play in this arena, which is super fun when you're doing the damn thing. So let's get to it. Have a great day, everybody. We appreciate your time, ladies. Thank you, Brittany. Brittany, you over in that corner of the universe, we got you in early enough that it's not like
I know. I was on and off muting.
I appreciate that. Yeah. We have an agent over in that corner of the building that's very loud. Yes. So I thought for sure she must be muting on and off. You did a great job. Yes. You did a great job. Thank you, ladies. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye, Tim.